Hello everyone, welcome to the Tim Booker channel. Wishing you all an enjoyable listening experience. The book we'll be delving into today is called Pitch Anything, subtitled An Innovative Method for Presenting, Persuading, and Winning the Deal. Every day, consciously or unconsciously, we employ sales skills, convincing children to eat more vegetables, negotiating resources with bosses, scheduling client visits. Sales tactics are everywhere. However, this book we're exploring today focuses more intensely and rigorously on perhaps the most daunting aspect of all sales scenarios, pitching your product, service, or proposal face-to-face to clients within limited time, in formal business settings. The author of this book, Oren Klaff, is a top-tier fundraiser in the American capital markets. His primary job involves assisting startups or promising projects in raising capital in the primary market. This means presenting to investment bankers who control tens or hundreds of billions, persuading these incredibly astute and often domineering individuals why they should invest in this one project out of hundreds. The American capital market harbors many professionals akin to Klaff. In Klaff's own words, they compete in the same market, engage in similar transactions, and present the same set of facts and data as arguments. Yet, Klaff consistently secures significantly more funding than his competitors. He believes the disparity doesn't stem from luck or innate talent but from methodology. Klaff has dedicated over 10,000 hours throughout his career continuously studying and refining the best practices for presentations, ultimately mastering this method. This book encapsulates his entire approach. If you're involved in sales or presentations, this might just be the book your competitors hope you never lay eyes on. Let's dive right into the core content, divided into 3 parts. 1. Understanding presentations from a neuroscience perspective. 2. Effectively controlling the room during presentations. 3. Maintaining the audience's cognitive heat during presentations. Part 1. It's said that 80% of people believe their driving skills are above the average, yet another 80% think their public speaking abilities are below average. This shows that while most people are confident in their driving, they lack confidence in public speaking. Successful sales pitches demand not just public speaking but persuading others to make a deal or at least consider one in an extremely limited time frame, a daunting task for the majority. The author believes that humans aren't naturally adept at sales. It's not linked to introversion or extroversion but is determined by the brain structure and workings. According to neuroscience, the human brain is divided into 3 layers. The outermost layer is the neocortex, mainly responsible for rational analysis, hence termed the rational brain. The middle layer is the limbic system, dealing with emotions, hence known as the emotional brain. The innermost part is the basal ganglia, responsible for primal survival needs like foraging or reproduction, also referred to as the instinctive brain or lizard brain. So here's the question, in a typical pitch scenario, which part of the brain are presenters and audiences using to process and receive information? As presenters, when we aim to sell a product, service, or idea, we engage the neocortex, the rational brain. It constructs ideas, translates them into language, and communicates them in a logical, rational manner. Naturally, we assume others are also using their rational brains to logically process our conveyed information. It's akin to sending someone an Excel spreadsheet assuming they'll open it in Excel. Unfortunately, this assumption is wrong. In reality, when audiences receive information, the first point of contact and processing isn't the neocortex responsible for rational analysis but the basal ganglia, handling primal survival needs. In ancient times fraught with danger, people had to be highly attuned to survival-related matters, and the lizard brain initially processed incoming information. After the lizard brain judges and filters information, it passes filtered information through the limbic system to the rational brain. Specifically, the lizard brain reacts to information as follows. Firstly, is this dangerous? If so, flee. If safe, stay and observe. Secondly, is this novel? If it's mundane, ignore it. Only genuinely extraordinary things get relayed to the neocortex. Conserving energy is crucial for survival. Thirdly, is this complex? If so, demanding significant mental effort to comprehend, grasp the gist quickly, discarding the details. You see, it's quite intriguing. While you're up there passionately discussing various technical indicators, market analysis, return on investment, concepts understood only by the rational brain. Your audience is making judgments using the lizard brain, concerned solely with survival. Is this situation dangerous? Should I flee? Is this novel? Should I ignore it? Is this complex? Should I simplify it? Eventually, 90% of the carefully crafted content in your presentation is deemed useless information by the other person's lizard brain, never reaching their rational brain. This is the classic case of speaking to ducks as if they're geese, with words flying while the audience below is nodding off. As the author summarizes in the book, sales information usually originates from our brain's most advanced and intelligent part, the neocortex, while the recipient is the lizard brain, evolved 5 million years ago and not as intelligent. The distance between the neocortex and the lizard brain isn't a physical 2 inches but millions of years in time. This explains why selling is so challenging. The human brain's functioning poses significant hurdles for sales. To sum up the book's core viewpoint, unsuccessful sales involve speaking logically to an audience's rational brain, assuming they'll receive information rationally. Conversely, successful sales involve translating complex ideas of the rational brain into information the lizard brain can comprehend, speaking directly to the audience's lizard brain. In essence, the information you convey must be sufficiently novel, interesting, and straightforward, piquing curiosity and desire in the other person's lizard brain without demanding too much mental effort. Only then will your information be effectively received. Conversely, if your information bores, confuses, or threatens the other person's lizard brain, your sales pitch is likely to fail. So, how do you keep the other person's lizard brain consistently curious and eager? You might suggest providing captivating stories, visually striking images, or opportunities for substantial profit. Are these approaches effective? Yes, indeed. A successful pitch requires these elements. However, these are secondary factors. According to the author, the most crucial determinant of a successful pitch is the relative status between you and the other person. The more subordinate you appear in your interaction, the lower your success rate. Note that many common-sense sales strategies in best-selling books are flawed according to this viewpoint. Deliberately lowering your stance, agreeing with everything the other person says, displaying utmost respect and sincerity, all to strike a deal, might backfire. Additionally, certain communication details, like engaging in small talk before formal discussions, praising minor details to gain favor, refraining from contradicting the other person's viewpoints, using softer language such as yes and to express differing opinions, ending discussions by further expressing willingness to collaborate and offering favorable terms, while not entirely invalid, might land you in the subordinate role trap, leading to a failed pitch. It's not due to the other person's materialism, rather, it's their lizard brain's inherent duty to highly regard messages from the strong while disregarding the weak. When you're in a subordinate position, what you say might automatically be deemed less valuable by the other person's lizard brain, struggling to arouse curiosity or attention. To have the other person's lizard brain listen, value your ideas, and be willing to follow, you must not deliberately accommodate or please them. On the contrary, you must assert dominance, becoming the leader in the situation, deliberately instigating some form of tension. In simpler terms, you must successfully control the room. Part 2. By this point, you might wonder, as a door-to-door seller, I'm naturally in a weaker position. How can I possibly control the room? Imagine yourself as a salesperson, scheduled to present your meticulously prepared solution to a potential client at their office at 2 p.m. You arrive at the grand lobby on the ground floor, emitting a sense of oppression. After providing your details at the reception, you're handed a visitor log and visitor card with an impassive receptionist stating, "Please sign your name and date in the visitor log. Keep the visitor card with you at all times. Please wait, Jones's assistant will be with you shortly." You take a seat in the corner sofa, waiting. After 10 minutes, Jones's assistant arrives, saying, "Sorry, Jones is still in a meeting. It'll be another 20 minutes. Please wait a little longer." After almost half an hour, you're finally ushered into Jones's office. He's engrossed in a document, a frown etched on his face. Just as you settle, Jones glances at his watch and says, "Sorry, I have another important meeting soon. I only have 15 minutes now. Please keep it brief." By this point, do you feel enveloped in a profound sense of helplessness? Falling into this subordinate role trap renders everything you've prepared useless, wasting your time. You might lose the chance to pitch to this client. What can you do? Let's see how Claff, the author of this book, handled a situation like this. The client Claff encountered, let's call him Bill, was even more extreme than the scenario with Jones. When Claff finally entered Bill's office after a long wait, he was seated in a low chair so Bill could tower over him. Bill's two assistants flanked Claff, creating a dominating presence. Finally, Bill casually took an apple from a fruit bowl and took a big bite. All of this was a significant signal from Bill to Claff: I've seen your type before, finish up quickly and leave, don't waste my time. As expected, Bill immediately said, I only have 15 minutes, to which Claff smilingly responded, that's okay, I actually only have 12 minutes. I have another meeting soon. Let's get started. This half-joking remark conveyed multiple layers of meaning. First, my time is as valuable as yours. Second, there are other potential buyers for this project, you're not the sole choice. It was a witty way to challenge the authority without causing resentment but instead ensuring attention. After this statement, Claff swiftly delved into the project presentation, confidently showcasing his expertise. However, Bill's overpowering aura led him to intermittently interrupt Claff with challenging questions. Realizing he needed to reclaim control, Claff excused himself, saying, excuse me, I need some water, and walked into the pantry. When he returned, Claff brought a plastic fruit knife from the pantry. Don't worry, Claff wasn't about to commit an act of violence. He said, listen, Bill, I hope this isn't how you negotiate partnerships. In a true partnership, everyone gets a share. Our collaboration should be like this. With that, Claff reached for the apple Bill had bitten, asking, may I have some? Without waiting for a response, Claff used the fruit knife to cut the apple in half, took a piece, and said, tastes good. After Claff's actions, Bill's assistants and even Bill himself were astonished. They attentively listened to Claff's entire presentation, showing keen interest in the project. When they displayed a strong interest, Claff gracefully wrapped up. Checking his watch, he said, wow, I have to go. Thanks for your time today. If what I've said is valuable to you, please reach out again. He began to pack up. At this moment, Bill couldn't hold back and quickly stopped him, wait a second. Tell me again, besides you, who else is involved in this project? At this point, the situation had completely turned around, and Claff had taken control of the entire pitch. In the end, he successfully sealed the deal with Bill. Certainly, this case is highly dramatic, making it challenging to replicate Claff's apple-sharing gesture directly. However, the lesson here is at the outset of a presentation, creating minor conflicts or resistance can establish dominance and capture the other party's attention. For instance, you might place beautifully printed, visually striking materials on the meeting table. When the other party reaches out, you could preemptively take them, smilingly saying, sorry, it's not time to view these yet. We'll get there shortly. This communicates a message, I'm in charge here, not you, my friend. Your attitude remains humorous and mild, not causing discomfort or panic, making the other party instinctively recognize you as the expert in that setting. Moreover, during your pitch, if you notice the client visibly disengaged, even doodling behind your carefully prepared materials, you could politely say, our materials are confidential, I'll need to retrieve that. Then take back the material that's being scribbled on. According to Claff's experience, this tactic won't enrage the client but will refocus their attention on you in the latter part of the pitch. Furthermore, imagine you'd scheduled a pitch with a client a month in advance. You arrive prepared, but just 5 minutes before the meeting's official start time, you're informed the key decision-maker won't make it. The assistant says, sorry, our boss just called, he won't be here for another hour. You can start without him. How would you handle this? If you proceed as planned, you'll fall into the subordinate role trap, preparing for a pitch with an inevitable futile outcome. You might respond, I can wait for 15 minutes, but after that, I'll have to leave. This statement clearly conveys a message. A novice salesperson often hesitates to say such things directly to a client, fearing offense. However, according to Claff's experience, at this moment, everyone in the room will focus on your feelings. They'll strive to find solutions to calm your dissatisfaction, trying hard to prevent you from leaving. In this round, you successfully regain control. If the decision maker still hasn't arrived after 15 minutes, it's best to leave without regrets. Remember, no control, no sale. This is the most crucial factor determining the success of a pitch. To gain control right from the start of a pitch, the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to break the other party's authoritative position. Part 3. Alright, by this point, you've already succeeded halfway. The other half depends on whether you can maintain the audience's cognitive heat throughout the entire pitch. Cognitive heat is a frequently mentioned term in this book, referring to keeping the other party's lizard brain in a state of curiosity, excitement, and desire, without feeling bored, fatigued, or wanting to escape. Achieving this is extremely challenging. Those experienced in pitching know that at the beginning of a presentation, the audience's attention is usually focused. This isn't due to the speaker, it's because the audience subconsciously seeks an answer. How similar is what they're saying to what I already know? If the audience realizes that the information provided is too similar to their predictions, lacking novelty, they mentally withdraw, becoming disengaged, checking phones, being absent-minded, or even leaving. So, how can a presenter avoid this situation and keep the audience's cognitive heat intact? Claff provides a crucial formula from the perspective of neuroscience: cognitive heat equals desire plus tension. Desire triggers dopamine release, while tension triggers adrenaline release. Cognitive heat is the product of these two neurotransmitters working together. If there's only desire without tension, it won't evoke sufficient cognitive heat. That's why Claff emphasizes that a live presentation isn't all friendly. Instead, the presenter must deliberately create some conflict and tension, not just to control the room effectively but also to sustain the other party's cognitive heat. How exactly can this be achieved? Claff offers a toolkit consisting of 4 elements: highlight, elevate self-worth, time constraint, and establish moral authority. By layering these 4 steps, it's possible to continuously generate desire and tension, pushing the other party's cognitive heat to its peak. Let's delve into each of them. Firstly, let's focus on the first one, highlight. Note that an important signal of the audience's cognitive heat cooling down is when they delve into technical details and financial metrics. This apparent, calm analysis actually kills cognitive heat. At this point, you need to promptly throw in a highlight story to reignite the audience's cognitive heat. The protagonist of this highlight story could be you or a key member of your team. The story structure can follow the classic Hollywood movie pattern: throw someone into the wild jungle, add a threat from a beast, finally, see how they overcome it. For example, your team receives an urgent R&D task, short-staffed. To make matters worse, the previous development software was disabled, leaving no tools. But eventually, you figured it out, completing an impossible task. In other words, it's a hero story about you or your team, showcasing how you faced and conquered difficulties. Recap the earlier key point: the lizard brain highly focuses on survival-related information. This story structure naturally grabs the other party's attention, while showcasing problem-solving displays your intelligence, further piquing their interest. At this juncture, you can smoothly transition to the second element of the quartet: elevate self-worth. In the pitching scenario, you are the second party, and the other party is the first. One pitfall you might easily stumble into is expressing eagerness to collaborate too eagerly. So, are we close to an agreement? If you think so, we can sign the agreement now. Don't say this: it lowers your worth, as if you're pleading for a deal. However, the more you lower your stance, the harder it is to strike a deal. Human nature dictates that we desire and value what's hard to obtain. The right approach isn't to lower your stance but to elevate your worth, telling the other party, "I'm important, you need to leave a good impression on me, you need me more than I need you." For instance, Claff might say, "Everyone, I'm delighted to have the chance to present my project here. Understand, I might not meet with buyers every time. There aren't many good projects in this market like this one, I have to be serious. I will assess which investors are more suitable for this project. Before we proceed with this project, I need more information about you. I have to convince my partner, Joshua, to accept new investors. He'll want to know why I think you're quality partners. Could you tell me why? See, through this dialogue, Claff successfully conveys a few points. Firstly, this project in my hands is rare in the market. Secondly, I'm selective with investors. Thirdly, I might collaborate with you, but I need to assess your qualifications. Fourthly, besides me, my partner will also review your qualifications. This dialogue deliberately pushes away the relationship, creating tension, making the other party realize that this deal isn't readily available. Of course, you shouldn't just push the other party away, making them truly back off. After pushing away, you need to pull closer. For example, regarding this project, we believe long-term returns are more important than short-term gains. If you don't agree, maybe we're not suitable for each other. This is the pushing away rhetoric. You can follow this with, but on the flip side, if this collaboration does succeed, we can form a strong alliance and create something extraordinary. This is the pulling closer rhetoric. During a pitch, you need to alternate between the push away/pull closer rhetoric to create a cycle of tension. Push away first, then pull closer. Creating a tense atmosphere and then resolving it is an effective method to maintain the other party's cognitive heat. Now, let's delve into the third of the four-part toolkit, time constraint. This involves two aspects, limiting the pitch time and setting decision-making time for the other party. Based on Claff's experience, no matter how proficient your presentation skills are, the audience's cognitive heat can only last for about 20 minutes. So, the optimal duration for a pitch is 20 minutes. If you can't persuade them within that time, giving you more won't help. That's the limit on pitch time. When time's up and the audience is genuinely interested in your project, it's not about capitalizing on that momentum. Instead, it's about decisively pulling away. You might say, looks like time's nearly up, I need to wrap up and head to the next meeting. This is akin to Cinderella leaving immediately after the clock strikes 12, leaving behind the glass slipper, the climax of the entire drama. Moreover, you can't wait indefinitely, you must provide a final deadline for the decision. Claff often phrases it like this: nobody likes time pressure. I don't, you don't, nobody does. But a great project is like a train, it stops at the station, waits for investors to get on board, and sets a departure time. When time's up, the train leaves immediately, it won't wait for you. This project's window is only 14 days, we need to decide before the 20th. This dual time constraint further elevates desire and tension, thereby maintaining the other party's cognitive heat. Lastly, let's explore the fourth of the toolkit, establishing moral authority. Tell the other party that this isn't just a business deal but about a higher purpose, like community development, environmental initiatives, or domestic alternatives. On a project to rebuild an airport, Claff valued the project like this: today, 115,000 people live here. Please consider this: the decision we make in this conference room today will impact what happens to these 115,000 people in the community 50 miles away. We can't just extract value from the community, we must also give value to the community. Whether or not you choose us, we aim to rebuild the community football field, it's part of our airport reconstruction plan. By introducing community value, Claff firmly took the moral high ground, separating themselves from bidding teams focused solely on calculating profits. That's the power of moral authority. If you can adeptly use the quartet of highlight plus elevate self-worth plus time constraint plus establish moral authority during a pitch, you've achieved a masterful level. Alright, here's a summary of the main content of this book for you. Firstly, the neuroscience behind pitches. Unsuccessful sales often involve addressing the audience's rational brain, attempting to provoke logical thinking with abstract concepts and analytical logic. Successful sales, on the other hand, speak directly to the audience's lizard brain, using simple, clear, emotional material to ignite their cognitive heat. Secondly, establishing your position during a pitch. If you fall into the subordinate role trap, what you say automatically gets judged by the other party's lizard brain as low in value, leading to a doomed pitch. Hence, you must create some mild conflict and resistance to gain control, and the earlier, the better. Thirdly, the toolkit for pitches. Flexibly employ the quartet of highlight plus elevate self-worth plus time constraint plus establish moral authority, creating sustained desire and tension through layering to continuously elevate the audience's cognitive heat. Lastly, remember this: successful sales aren't just one-way outputs, they're interactive games where you invite the other party to participate. That's the essence of this book. Congratulations on finishing another book. Thanks for your support and attention. Please subscribe to the Tim Booker channel, like, and share this valuable knowledge with your friends. Let's combine wisdom and practice, achieve our financial goals, and create a better future together. Thank you, goodbye.